Here, Washington continuing to investigate what measures can be implemented to help markets and regulators handle the current Wall Street crisis. Bob Pisani here with a special guest in an exclusive interview.
Hello, Ellen Tauscher here. Hello, Congresswoman. Bob Pisani, CNBC. Welcome to CNBC. A pleasure to have you down here. Those of you who don't know about Ms. Tauscher's history, she was one of the first women to ever hold a seat at the New York Stock Exchange. If you're wondering why she's down here, she's had some experience in trading in the past. What's it like to come back down here?
Well, I was here for 3 years. 30 years ago, I was a very small child when I got on the New York Stock Exchange. But my booth was right over there, and I was a floor broker for Bache. And it was a fabulous time to be here. The market was sluggishly well below 1,000, and average daily volume was 25 million shares a day. And computers were introduced, and we went up to well over 100 million shares a day while I was here for 3 years.
Now, other than a nostalgia thing, and obviously that's important, you're here for some very important reasons here. You are representing really the House leadership to talk to people here at the New York Stock Exchange and get some idea and get some feedback about what we want to hear, what people down here want to hear. What are they telling you? What kind of information are you getting? What are you saying to them?
Well, I think what's important is that the capital markets are the lifeblood of American industry, and that's how we create jobs. That's how we have a strong economy. That's how we have a strong civil situation in the United States. And it's important that we have markets that work, that have transparency and accountability, and have confidence. And clearly, with the beginning of the subprime mortgage crisis, I describe it a lot like a snake bite. There's been somebody's fallen down, you find a wound, and then there's other systemic problems. And you've got to deal with those systemic problems, a heart attack and renal failure and all kinds of things, because there's poison in the system. And what we need to understand, and by the way, we have very smart people in Washington. Chairman Frank, who chairs the Financial Services Committee, and others are going to be working on the legislative piece and doing hearings. But I'm here primarily at the request of the Majority Leader, Steny Hoyer, to understand exactly the scope of these problems. We have trading now for many years that has gone as fast as the speed of light. Do we have regulatory transparency that moves that quickly? Are we able to look through and into markets around the world and understand volatility, capital requirements? Are we able to understand how mark-to-market actually works in some of those circumstances? And how do we assure the American people that their capital markets have credibility and that they're actually going to be there to provide the capital to build companies and to create jobs and to keep everything going? It
sounds like more regulation is coming. And down here, as you might recall, traders like to talk on bottom lines very quickly. It sounds like more regulation is coming. What likely might we see in the coming months in terms of new regulatory proposals?
Well, I think what is important is that that the American people regain confidence that their markets are actually as transparent and accountable, and that there is real oversight. And that's going to take the Congress working with the markets and working with American industry to be sure that at a time when you're trading at the speed of light, when there is an interconnected, international, globalized financial trading market, that you actually have the kind of accountability, transparency, that you can understand how these markets are performing, that you understand that people have the capital requirements and that they're meeting them, so that when the arm is infected, that the leg doesn't get infected, and that you don't have a situation where you have this cascade effect of something wrong in one place that causes the whole system to fall over.
Can we expect more hearings on this? What I think, and I've been down here 12 years, what they want down here most of all is some kind of input into the process, and I know that's one of the reasons that you're down here. But yes. Wall Street, which is a tremendous engine of job creation around the world, wants some way to have some input on this. How are you going to structure these hearings, or how is this going to, what's the process this is going to be played out by?
Well, once again, Chairman Frank is known for his ability to bring all parties together and to work not only in a bipartisan way in the Congress, but to work to make sure that we have a lot of exposure to everybody's point of view. So I think you're going to see that in the hearings that are coming forward. There's going to be some hearings before the end of the year, and then certainly in January when we come back.
Before I let you go, I know you're part of the New Democratic Coalition, which is a centrist caucus in the House. Obviously, this is an important time for you. What kind of new proposals might we be expecting to hear from you in the next couple of months, not just on the regulatory front, but in general?
Well, we believe that you have to have the R&D tax credit fully funded and extended, and that's the way American businesses are going to be be able to create jobs. We believe that innovation is the key to Americans having jobs that are going to be American jobs and not going to be exported, and that we're going to have high values for the skills of American workers. Education's a big key piece of it. I think in the debate last night, a lot of people saw that there are differences between the two parties, but I think we all clearly, as Democrats and Republicans, believe that we have to deal with this crisis as quickly as we can, move forward as best we can, unfreeze the credit markets so that Americans can buy cars, finance their houses, send their kids to college, businesses can hire people. It's going to take some time to do that, but I have confidence that we're going to be able to work together to do it.
Congresswoman, a pleasure to see you, and a pleasure to see a young woman and an old veteran that's down here as well. And she's been walking around talking to people like Art Cashin as well as the leadership down here, gathering information for the House leadership. Mark and Aaron, back to you, and thank you very much, Congresswoman.